Hello and welcome back to Active Insights with Katia. In this episode, we're going to be talking 2026 ins and outs. I'm sure you've probably heard, listened to, watched 1,000,001 videos about the new year. We get it, right? It's the 1st of January. Let's be real. The day before is the same as the day after. It doesn't have to be the 1st of January to completely reset, to restart, to re-prep. We're against this all or nothing mindset. And if you're new here, my name is Katia. I'm a dietetic student, which is basically the study of food and nutrition to treat disease, because everyone asks me what that is. If you watched this before, you probably heard me ramble about that. And in the new year, I used to always set really stupid resolutions, yeah? I used to set things like no eating cookies. That was definitely a resolution, I remember one year. No eating chocolate, going to the gym every single day, becoming a gym girl, reach my dream body, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure probably made these resolutions too, and I'm going to tell you why. It's the stupidest, worst thing you could ever do. And again, links that all or nothing mindset. This episode is also for the people who feel like they've done everything, yet they're still not where they want to be. You've done the work, you followed the podcast, you followed the formula, yet it doesn't seem to work for you. Everyone else has it so much easier, everyone else is so much luckier. It must be fate, it must be luck, that you have no more control over your life. And this is where you're wrong, my friend. And I promise you, by the end of this episode, you're not only going to have a fire up your butt, you're going to feel so motivated and so clear in direction. You won't need anything else. But I get it. It's super frustrating, yeah, when you think you're doing all the right steps, that you're not seeing it materialize in real life. Trust me, I feel the same frustration. Because this is a new year, it is a perfect time to restart. Because not only are you kind of restarting and refreshing, everyone around you is too, and that energy can rub off you as well. It's also going to help you just stay more motivated, actually implement the habits and the system. I really want you to take this analogy like the ant on an elephant's back. Let me explain. So imagine the elephant, yeah, is walking forward and the ant is walking backwards but on its back. The ant thinks it's making so much progress because it's going so quickly, but actually the elephant, even though it's taking small steps, is making much more progress. Elephant is your systems and the ant is your motivation and your desires. Be the elephant. We're going to be setting systems here that's actually going to get you to your goal regardless of what you do on top. And I'm not coming at you like a guru. I'm coming at you like a best friend that you need to hear no bullshit from. I hate all these people who think they're absolute experts in life. Like, I don't need life coaching from you. I need someone who gets the same frustration, who's tried everything in their power to make it work, and it never did until they cracked the code. So this is everything I've learned. Hear what you need, leave what you don't. Like I said, not a life coach. I'm just going to tell you my experience so you can just try it out and experiment. For me, experimentation has been the best thing moving forward. But here's just another little laboratory experiment for you all. But first of all, I want to establish what you're probably thinking right now. You're probably thinking,
how is this any different? I've tried absolutely everything. I'm doing all the right things, yet it's not working. It must be me.
I must be feeling, stop, I get it. Because I used to feel the exact same frustration, especially when it came to content, my body, fitness. Here's the thing, I felt like my friends were doing even less than me. I was doing everything perfect. I was sacrificing the foods, I was eating really well, I was going to the gym, I was lifting heavy, yet they looked and felt better than I did, even though I was doing everything perfect. It makes you think that things aren't made for you or that you're the problem. I'm gonna give you a quick reality check here. Everyone who you're looking up to, everyone who you're admiring or you're using as inspiration has literally felt the exact same way. But what did they do differently? They had patience and they kept going. They had resilience. She's not really an influencer. Vanessa Van Edwards, she talks about confidence, talks about how to communicate through body language and through speech. She's been posting for 18 years and she's only just hit 1 million followers. That was proper inspiration to me because she literally, that's nearly as long as I've been born. Oh my God, literally my entire life. She's been posting on social media, trying to make it in her industry, and she's only just about done it in her eyes. That is crazy to me because you're comparing yourself, or you don't know what people have done behind the scenes, and then you'll think you're not good enough because maybe they've started after you and surpassed you. Maybe they go to the gym once a week and have your dream body. You know what? Life is unfair. We're all dealt different cards. That's actually to your advantage because with the cards you're dealt with, you can move mountains. I promise you. And let me explain why. I'm going to mainly focus on my story in terms of my eating disorder and body obsession because I feel like that's definitely where it's most applicable for me. What I've definitely spent the most years in pain because I literally love myself to reach my dream body. I spent 5 years, didn't eat a piece of cake on my birthday, didn't go on holiday with my family because I was scared of the food, that there might not be a gym there, went out for walks, actually broke my legs, I think twice I broke my knees because I was exercising so much my body couldn't handle it to reach a certain body type that I couldn't even see with my own eyes. So when it comes to obsession, I want to reach a certain goal, I know how it feels because I spent 5 years doing that and now I do less than all of that combined. Literally, I eat cake pretty much every single day. Literally haven't moved. Like, I've gone for one walk today and that's probably all I'm going to do. And yet I have the body that I wish I had all those years ago. And I think a big issue is social media. And I'm not going to demonize social media. I post on social media, okay? I want you all to watch me. I want you all to have fun with my videos. But I think there's definitely some comparison on social media that can be extremely unhealthy. And not just social media, magazines, TV, people around you, your schoolmates, your friends, your neighbours. We're always going to be comparing to people we look up to. And there's always an upward comparison versus a downward comparison. And that's because we never have the full story. And I can speak that not only from my family experience, but from my personal experience, where people think I'm thriving in life when actually I've got all this shit going on behind the scenes. All these amazing photos I'm posting online when actually my grandma died that day. You never know what's going on in somebody's life, and comparing your 100% to people's best 2%. Well, I've just bit my mouth. Oh my God, how did I do that? With the evidence that we have, we can definitely say that social media is definitely bringing down people's self-esteem. To only compare yourself versus yourself, which is why I love journaling so much. Notice the minute I get off my phone, I force myself to put social media down. My mental health goes up like that. When I go sit down and watch some My Little Pony, I promise you, it makes you feel 100 times better. When it came to my grades and I was comparing to everyone else in my class who was literally getting full marks on every single English essay, and I was getting D's and E's, it'd be easy to compare myself and think that I'm not good enough and I'll never be able to get there and it's all fate and they're so lucky and they find it so easy. When actually I wasn't studying smart, I was just studying hard. I was burning myself to the ground, and I spent all my energy focusing on what everyone else was doing to actually focus on me. And you know what? 2025 for me, it wasn't magical. It was actually quite boring. It was a year of experimentation because I actually didn't really achieve that much. That's okay, because in my mind, I experimented so much that I actually have clarity of where I want to go, and that is good enough. I think when it comes to New Year planning, rather than planning like exactly what you're going to achieve in the new year, I want you to plan day to day, those little habits and steps you can make to reach that ultimate end goal. Having maybe a theme for the year. My 2025 theme for the year, experimentation. Experimentation with my social media, experimentation with my workouts, experimentation with moving around uni, going out with my friends. And this year, 2026, I really feel is the year of focus. Now, I know that sounds really broad, but what I mean is focusing in on what I want to do, for example, with my content, how I want to make people feel, focusing on my workouts and thinking, okay, what can I do within each workout that's really going to compound and make the most change to my body and to my mental health? What can I do in uni that I can completely focus on what's important and what I can leave behind? That's my theme of the year, but you can think about what you really want to achieve this year and then link a theme to it than purely just goals. Because goals are great, but sometimes we need to focus on what we need to eliminate rather than what we need to add. Sometimes constantly adding makes it so overwhelming for us. When we think about what we don't need to do anymore, it can actually be a lot easier. For example, do we not need to go eating out 7 times a week because we're spending so much money on that? Maybe you don't need to go running every single day out of force and guilt, and rather maybe go running once a week for your mental health. Whatever it is that is best for you in the moment. Actually, the biggest shift this year that made the biggest difference in my life wasn't motivation or discipline. Actually going against my instincts. Even things like when I stopped running all the time, I thought, oh my God, am I going to ruin my heart health? Is it going to hurt my gains? When actually I just needed to build that evidence against myself that I didn't need to run out of fear or guilt. I can run because I want it and because that feels good to my body in the moment. Here are some actionable steps. I've actually written them down on my phone. I'm going to have a quick look at this list just to make sure I'm not missing anything. That's really going to shape these ins and outs that I believe best 2026, considering everything I've seen, I've noticed and spoken to my friends about. Number 1, consistency without expecting instant reward. Showing up before the results actually show themselves. So I'm talking about eating well. I'm talking about saving your money. I'm talking about investing. I'm talking about listening to podcasts and reading books. I've just finished 2 books today, which makes me feel very satisfied because the new year is just around the corner and I like finishing everything. Things like, for example, for me, it would be filming YouTube videos and thinking, okay, I'm not seeing any results right now, but I'm trusting that the results will show up if I keep going. Patience over intensity. The ant and the elephant thing, you want to set up systems that will work when you wait and you allow them to compound. Nothing shows the day you do it. If it was that easy, everyone would be a millionaire, everyone would have their dream lives, but because you're working for it and you're waiting and you're sitting with it and you're just trusting that the actions you're putting in will show up and materialize, that's what's going to get you to win. Like I talked about with Vanessa, she waited 18 years. How many people are going to wait 18 years? Not many people, but now she's living her dream life because she did that. Stop resetting your life every single week like I used to do. It's going to get you nowhere. You need to let things actually sit and allow them to compound to see any sort of results. The magic is truly in what you avoid. Things I avoided is where my progress really truly came to play. But avoiding comparing myself on social media, avoiding actually going to the gym and lifting, avoiding eating a bit more to see that compound in my body, to allow my body to repair, avoiding constant dieting because the more you diet, the more stress you're going to put your body under, and no wonder it's not going to trust you. Only taking action and be willing to be bad at it. If you were good at every single thing that you started, there'd be no reason for school or uni or to practice. I mean, we're not, My Little Pony. I'm sorry, this is just a show I've been kind of really obsessed with recently. You're not born with a cutie mark. Okay, you aren't just a special talent. One thing's great, practice beats talent every single time. No matter how good or naturally skilled you are at something, the person who practices will always win. I want you to practice, even if you're bad at it, just practice. You don't have to be the best in the world, and actually you can fill in and delegate the gaps that you're not the best at. Listen to a podcast, they said that most entrepreneurs are like spiky balls because they're great at some things and really shit at others. For me, I know where my strengths and my weaknesses lie. Trust me, I do. I know that I'm quite articulate and I speak very well because people have told me that. I also know that I speak very, very quickly, and it's something that I'm trying to be very self-aware about. Equally, I'm quite good and I've practiced a lot at editing, but I'm really, really shit at thumbnail design. Maybe in the future I have to delegate that. At the moment, obviously, I'm cutting costs, making some sacrifice and doing it myself. But by me practicing, I'm learning what works and what doesn't. And waiting patience, compounding over time, that's how I know and trust it's all going to work out in the future. And that's what I mean by our ins and outs. It's going to be very tailored to you and what you're wanting to work on and what your theme of the year is this year. This might be really cheesy, but the most important part is to really be authentic and true to yourself. This year, I've really started to be real, not only on social media, but with other people, and truly be myself. And I found I've made the deepest connections, I've made the most progress, I'm reaching the most people because I'm authentically speaking from my heart and from my head and making mistakes and owning those mistakes when I make them. When you're truly yourself, you no longer care about what other people think of you because you realize they're not worth time in your life anyway. And there's 8 billion people on this planet. It's inevitable people aren't going to like you. And there's also going to be people who absolutely adore you. Also going to be people who completely adore you. You need to let people think what they want to think. You need to let people judge. At the end of the day, you can't control what other adults are thinking or doing. You can only control your actions and how you respond. Actually, I have a bit of an anecdotal story here. So, I was on Instagram, and I don't know, I'm sure you guys have heard of them. There's these trial reels, which is basically where people who don't follow you can see your reel. I was scrolling on the explore page, and this girl comes up and she goes, "Can somebody please look at my content and just tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I feel like I'm doing everything right, but I've only got 7,000 followers." And on the comments, people had actually gone to her page and looked at her content and gave her some really good constructive criticism. I didn't comment anything because I didn't really look at her page very much, but from what everyone was saying on the comments, it was things like, "Well, you're only really following trends. I don't feel like I'm connecting with you. I feel like I like your personality, but there's nothing in it for me." And then all her responses to these comments were, "Yeah, but I feel like the trends are me." "Oh, no, that is my personality." "Oh, well, you know, I feel like the trends really connect with who I am." People are literally spoon feeding you what you need to do to blow up on this channel, and you're not taking it. And that's not me attacking her. I'm just saying that a lot of the times we take feedback as an attack and we get very defensive about it. This year, I've really learned to take feedback as something to grow from. Whenever I ask my friends, I literally used to send my friends my thumbnails and be like, "Would you click on this? Please be honest." And my friend would be like, "No, I wouldn't." Thank you. Thank you for giving me the feedback, because I don't want to waste more time on something that's a flop. I'd rather someone tell me when something is shit so I can change it and grow from it. And if you're always going to take that as an attack on you, you're never going to grow. That's just a hard pill that I definitely had to swallow this year, and I felt like it was very applicable to share, especially after seeing that post. There's always room for us to evolve. In 2026, we ain't done. It might be the best year of your entire life. You ain't done. There's always going to be room to evolve. When you actually allow people to give you that feedback, you don't have to take it, but you don't have to get defensive about it. You can just think, okay, this is from somebody else's point of view. It's like those YouTube videos where people like to discuss a certain show in comment. I love those sort of YouTube videos where someone's going through different comments about a show and everyone can see the different perspectives and what people think about it. And oh, I didn't think about it in that way. It's just constructive. It's like when you're being in the classroom and you're talking about an English text. I actually tutor English, so I like doing this with my group students and just hearing everyone's different points of view, because everyone's talked about their lives and the points of which they have lived. And it doesn't make anyone right or wrong. It's just a perspective. Sometimes taking those perspectives and seeing it in a new light can actually clear the way for you to break the barrier between you and your goal. And therefore, doing the opposite of your instincts. So when it came to my body, going against what was going in my brain, especially when I had my eating disorder. My grades, going against what was in my brain, saying I'm not good enough, or my revision techniques aren't good. Try something else. Experiment. Take feedback from your teachers and from your peers and just try it out. There is no harm in trying and failing, because then you know that it's not going to work. People who look so successful have failed more times than you've even tried. I promise you that. Because the faster you fail, the faster you succeed. Trust me, I've had a lot of failures. Not only this year, last year too, and I can promise you there's going to be many more to come down the road. But I'm actually looking forward to them, because every single failure I have, I learn so much, not only about myself, but about what I'm doing, about my life, what I like, what I dislike, the people around me. Like, I look forward to failing now, because I know it's never a negative. Whether I succeed or I fail, I feel exactly the same way. So if you're going to take anything away from this episode, make it that 2026 is not the year of your rebrand, it's not the year of your perfection, it's not the year you're going to reach all of your goals, even though you will eventually. That's the thing. Your goal is inevitable when you're taking the right actions. Make it a year of experimentation. Make it a year of going against what you've been doing so far, because if what you've been doing has not been working up until now, maybe it's time to try something new, and then have patience to allow it to actually sit and compound, because it's always the moment you quit was literally the moment before you're about to break through. I actually read this from the book from Seth Godin, The Dip. When you're not very good at something, that is the dip, before you then skyrocket, like a hockey stick kind of thing. Whether it be your grades, your body, your fitness, social media, making friendships, relationships. I promise you, it's always out of a sticky situation that the most best months, years of your life come to pass. And finally, the internal change always happens before the external. Before I had any sort of glow up, before I managed to change my life, before I made any money, the internal had to change first. I internally changed maybe last January, February. It didn't actually show up on the outside until like May, June time. That's because it needs time not only to compound on the inside, because you actually glow from within. When people see you're being authentic, you're being happy, you're actually content, you do what you say you're going to do, aka you've got skin in the game, you actually act out what you preach. People see that, and then you don't need to speak your confidence, you're actually acting it out, because competence makes you confident. Not only in what you can do, but how other people perceive you, because action speaks so much louder than words. And that's why I have my YouTube channel, where I actually show you me living and acting out what I talk about on this podcast. Otherwise, it's me, a girl, talking to you through a camera. That's why I've got my social media, to show you actually living out what I preach. And of course, all the mistakes and mishaps I make along the way, so you don't have to go down the same path, and it can speed up your independence era a little bit more. Otherwise, I really hope you enjoy this episode. Happy New Year if you're watching this in the new year. Remember, it doesn't have to be January 1st to completely reinvent yourself, to completely start any of these actions. January 1st is the same as December 31st. Mentally, we like to put them in buckets, new year, old year, when actually it doesn't really matter. The world doesn't know that it's a new year. All it knows is that it's a new day, and you can use that to your advantage. Otherwise, I'll see you all next Monday, and YouTube video will be on Friday like normal, and I'll see you all next week.